U.S. intelligence report, attacks on Iran did not end nuclear program. A new intelligence report on the impact of recent U.S. attacks on Iran's nuclear facilities contradicts the Trump administration's claims that they have been completely destroyed. According to the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA, the attacks set Iran's nuclear program back by just a few months. A new U.S. intelligence report has revealed that Iran's nuclear program has been set back by just a few months since Washington's attacks last week on 3 of the country's nuclear facilities. The report, released by the Pentagon's intelligence arm, the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA, contradicts President Donald Trump's statements on Saturday night, immediately after the operation, which he described as targeted and precise. Trump claimed at a televised press conference with Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth that Washington's strikes had completely destroyed Iran's nuclear facilities. Trump said Iran's Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan nuclear facilities suffered damage dating back years. They were hit by 30,000-pound, 13,600 kilograms, U.S. bunker-piercing bombs, while satellite imagery showed significant damage to the facilities. The report found that most of the damage was to structures above ground. The entrance to Iran's most heavily guarded facility, the Fordo uranium enrichment facility, located deep underground, collapsed and infrastructure was damaged. However, the underground infrastructure remained intact. An official with knowledge of the situation said. The report also suggests that some of Iran's highly enriched uranium was removed from multiple sites before the U.S. strikes began. The report alleged that Tehran had been moving uranium to other secret nuclear facilities where it holds the nuclear weapons. The DIA also found that most of Iran's centrifuges were largely intact. The White House has objected. The White House has strongly disputed the assessment, calling it completely false. The leaking of this so-called assessment is a clear attempt to discredit President Trump and the courageous fighter pilots who executed a perfect mission to destroy Iran's nuclear program, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said in a statement. Everyone knows what happens when you drop 14,000-pound bombs perfectly on their target, total destruction, she added. Trump has said in recent days, including on Tuesday, that the strikes totally destroyed Iranian facilities, and that Iran would never be able to rebuild them. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said in a televised address on Tuesday, for decades, I promised you that Iran would not have a nuclear weapon. And indeed, we have destroyed Iran's nuclear program. Speaking a day after Trump announced a ceasefire brokered by the U.S. and Qatar between the two countries, Netanyahu claimed that the 12-day campaign against Iran was a historic victory. We have eliminated 2 imminent existential threats: the threat of annihilation with nuclear bombs, and the threat of annihilation with 20,000 ballistic missiles. Iran said on Tuesday it was ready to return to the negotiating table with the U.S., but Tehran said it would always defend its legitimate rights and respond to Israel's violations of the existing ceasefire.